I'm CraigO, and join me on my adventures with CraigO's cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about.
You're tuning into CraigO's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technology. Great reviews, incredible interviews with the leading people in the Web3 ethos, and just the general things Web3. Today, we're going to do two different podcasts, all titled into one. We're going to cut them into separate clips, but let's get right to it. We're going to do 10 different items. First is we're going to talk about DoKwon, the top 5 NFT projects that I'm focused on right now. There are others. We're going to talk about Maddies Metrics review of having him here on my podcast, what I learned about key indicators. Twitter Spaces, a lot of learning goes down in there. Web 2 to Web 3, or is it Web 3 to Web 2? Inflationary versus deflationary crypto. Play on trolling and shit posting. I get to say that. Blur Marketplace. Wow, they are grabbing a crown. And for any of you degens who haven't checked it out, you definitely want to. And 0% royalties. That's going to be a conversation on the things in Web3 for the coming foreseeable future. I was going to say the coming months, but who knows? I want to hop real quick, Tony, into that link tree, and I want to just share this with people who are tuning in on YouTube or Facebook Live. Please go and subscribe to the channels. We have a lot of great content stored on YouTube, short clips, long form interviews with the leading people in the Web3 ethos. And then, of course, today, the general things in Web3. A couple things that I want you guys to notice at the top of that link tree is you can subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Also, we have Spotify and Apple Music. I was getting caught up on that one for a second. So I definitely want you guys to subscribe. Let's build this channel together. And I want to provide value to you, my audience. I'm truly passionate about the Web3 ethos, as you know. So let's get into the top 5 projects. The first one is OnChain Monkeys. I've been talking about them for a while. They have their iRise. It's and what it stands for is respect, integrity, sustainability, and experimentation. Right? So it's about growing, evolving forward, and when you fail, getting back up and doing it again. And I love that ecosystem. And I just want to go really quick to the next screen share. If you guys have OnChain Monkeys or if you don't have it, I'd highly recommend that you go in, you take a look at their website. I love this space. One of the things that I want to do is I'm going to hook up my wallet real quick. And I just want to show you that I have 4 monkeys that are on missions. So it's interactive. And one of the things with, whether you call it a staking mechanism, one of the things that you get to do when you have any NFT or any crypto is that if you have the opportunity to stake NFTs, particularly, what you're doing is that you're holding supply, and so limited supply, obviously, and that correlates to, and if I can get this to up and going, what it correlates to is less supply means more demand, right? Less supply, more demand. Obviously, we're going to talk about that in inflation versus deflationary crypto. All right, so it looks like it's taking a second to hook up. We're going to skip that for the time being, for whatever reason. No big deal. It happens. Got to love the Wi-Fi. ZKS. Speed of off-chain batching of transactions, then bringing them back on-chain again. They have ZKS rollup and they have ZKS optimism. ZK optimism, the big difference, and I'm really speaking about Ethereum. ZK optimism is that the transactions are batched together, but it's done on-chain, whereas ZKS is done off-chain. So ZKS, you can actually find it on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Highly recommend that you check out the crypto. Not financial advice. I want to be super clear, but that is one that I am cost averaging into, as we know, in this bear market, and I want to call it an opportunity market. I think that has more of a positive spin, is that it allows you to cost average, speak with people who have paid for their education. That would be me. Just going to raise my hand. I'm doing all right, but it is what it is. So ZKS, go look up that crypto. I feel very excited about it. I read the news on Twitter. And I also try to grab as much information as I can online, and then also speak to people who are into these projects. So OnChain Monkey, there's a bunch of people. And by the way, we're going to have a shout out in our next podcast. I got some really cool merchandise, some socks, hats, shirts, sweater, hoodie. So gotta love it. And we're actually going to create some fun TikTok stories from that. Rotten Antisocial Club. So we're going to go back to another screen share in just a second. Here we are. We're on the right screen share, Tony. So Rotten Antisocial Club, the announcement, they are doing a lot with their trash. And so this screen share is Dario. And Dario is a very well-known, very respected artist. I'm just hopping into his OpenSea page. I actually picked up a beautiful piece this week, and I will share that. I'm going to try to scroll down and see if they still have it. They do. So it's the zerogravity.eth. I'm just going to actually click on it. So I actually purchased this piece this week. They made it's a limited edition, multicolor, obviously 150 collection. So highly recommend that you start to look into these unique artists. One of the things that I think was said, and I believe it was by NFT God, is he said the ultimate metadata is not always NFT communities, but let's support also these artists that have incredible talent, drive, traveling the world. A shout out to you, Dario. I love what you're doing. And he is the artist behind the Rotten Antisocial Club. They say it's going to zero. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I hope that it doesn't. But if it does, I'll probably grab more trash, as that's what they've been saying is the trash symbol. They'll put the little emoji, little trash out there. Did you buy your trash today? I highly recommend that you go and take a look at it. And Rotten Antisocial Club is pretty affordable. Again, it's all relative. I get it. Ens Maxi's PFP. This is number 4. So Ens Maxi's PFP. I'm going to actually, you don't have to do the screen share yet. I'm actually going to pull this up real quick. And I just want to see if I can find it. PFP. So I absolutely love Ens Maxi PFP. It's the first NFT collection. Actually, I did. So Tony, you can just pull that up real quick. So the reason that I'm so excited about the Ens Maxi PFPs is that they are the first NFT collection directly tied to domains, ENS domains, and subdomains. And ENS domains and subdomains for everybody in Web 2 traditional business, i.e. products and services. Think about these ENSs like .coms. That's exactly what they're going to represent on the Ethereum blockchain. So websites are going to be directly correlated. Payment transactions will be directly correlated to .ENSs, and the subdomains will be products within the particular service or subservices within the direct service. So it's really cool, all the things that are going on right now. But Ens Maxi, I highly recommend that you guys check it out. It is a collection of 10,000. They've already done 627 ETH in volume. The floor price right now is 0.075 in fiat. In U.S. currency, that is related to $115. So I think there's some really great value there on the floor. Again, not financial advice. The Omi Token, number 5, right? And if I didn't mention any are cross-blockchain, there are some really great projects I've had on CryptoPits. I've had on Super Rare Bears. I've had on Sydney Espo from Espo Visual. So there's a lot of really great people out there in the ecosystem. Cade from the Joyage that are doing a lot of really great things with their NFT collections, some of it art-based, some of it utility-based, utility giving the offer. So the Omi Token, why deflationary token tied to the VV ecosystem, right? They have plans to integrate the token into their ecosystem, transact on major exchanges, and much more, right? So I did have Malcolm, who's also not only a good friend of mine, but he came on to the podcast and we talked about VV in depth. And every time an NFT is purchased on that ecosystem, there is a burning mechanic that ultimately happens. And with that burning mechanism, you're reducing the supply. You're never going to completely kill out the supply, but when you reduce the supply and there's an interest of demand, that is what has me excited about the Omi token. That is OMI. You can find it on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. Go take a look at it. It is an Ethereum, is an ERC20 token. I believe I'm correct on that. I always get those two confused because you have an ER721 token, which I believe is the NFT. So let's hop into a couple other little tidbits. So we did talk about the NFT projects. I'm just scrolling down a second. All right. Where in the world is DoKwon? So DoKwon is the gentleman who created Terra Luna, and then obviously the algorithmic stablecoin, which we've talked on the podcast before, the UST coin. And so the ability to go from one crypto to the next within that ecosystem was making people a lot of money in the bull run. And then once the bears came in, the opportunity came in. Unfortunately, it wasn't an opportunity. It cleaned a lot of people out. I classify DoKwan as a shit poster. I call him hashtag Mr. Shit Poster. Maybe that'll be the new thing for him, right? But CoinDesk ran with a story, and I'm actually going to do a quick screen share on that. So DoKwon denies reports that the South Korean prosecutors froze 39.6 million of his crypto. So this was a story that came out of CoinDesk. I'm going to probably believe CoinDesk. They're still around. They're making money. They have respectable reporters. We actually had Casey Craig, who's the global head of communications from CoinDesk on, and we actually had our conversation over at 11 Blue Water. As you guys know, I'm also a realtor. 11 Blue Water, which is in Westport. It's a $10 million beautiful property. So, you know, is it Coinbase? I mean, is it CoinDesk or is it DoKwan that I believe? I'm gonna go with CoinDesk. I don't know about you guys, but definitely check out that article. It was actually published on October 5th, 2022. And they actually, what I love about CoinDesk in particular is they do a lot of video content alongside of their writing. So I think that I get the both. I read, and then I'll also listen afterward to, or listen and view the video content to see if there's something that I pick up from that versus just reading it. All right, so the FUD episode of Maddies Metrics. What did I learn from it? First off, Matty is a dear friend of mine outside. He's my Web2 friend. And what I learned from Matty is he is authentic and he's genuine and he has good intention, but he also wants to call out early on the things that aren't working in the space. And the migration of Web3 base business, NFT promise of a roadmap, the airdrops, we're doing utility. I think the ultimate utility, and we've talked a lot about this, is project founders showing up. He searches for the truth, not the sensation of retweets. He focuses on both. There are two things most importantly, and one that I focus on very heavily: the technical analysis and then the fundamental analysis. So every week, Matty and I get together on a call and we talk about the technical analysis, how to read charts, what we're looking for, where are there good purchasing patterns, and then where are the patterns that say you need to sell. And then sometimes you don't have a track record long enough within a particular crypto, where there's not enough liquidity in particular projects to actually know when the good buy is. It's sort of a risk. So you're betting on the founders. You're betting on the engagement online, on Twitter, on Discord. We're also going to talk today about Reddit. Whew, that's going to be heavy. That's going to be, I believe, in the second episode. So the FUD is the sticky part of his metrics. Everybody always loves to hear, what are you talking about? What's the rumor, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, it's incredibly important. And so big shout out to Maddies Metrics. And if you can go to a quick screen share real quick. All right, so I just want to show this. Obviously, we're just having some Wi-Fi difficulty, but that's okay. At least you guys, I think, are coming in clearly. Are we coming in clearly? Perfect. Okay, no worries. It is what it is. We're good though. So Maddies Metrics, that was filmed. We talked the good, the bad, and the fudly. Highly recommend that you guys check that out. He's super experienced, and I love his level of transparency and his Maddies Metrics. You can just follow him on Twitter as well. I think that's really important. So what are the things that you should look for in an NFT community, the things that I'm looking for during this opportunity market in air quotes? Well, I think it's a fundamental based Web2 approach. When you look at products and services, maybe let's use you're buying a cup of coffee. All right. You go to a coffee shop. How's the service? Is the coffee too hot? Do you like the taste of the coffee? Does the coffee taste burnt, right? These are all the things that you do subconsciously. So that's the same similar approach. That's the fundamental approach. We want to break it down to its core basics. So founders who are passionate for the community and have a long-term outlook, I think that's incredibly important. NFT God also said one other thing, which I thought was really, really, it hit me importantly. It hit me in the most important way. There we go. Hit me importantly. That didn't make sense. Founders that show up, it's everything. If they show up daily and frequently in Twitter Spaces, that's easy. That's free. We all have the ability to show up in Twitter Spaces. So I want to know that they're showing up, that they're delivering. And here's the second: NFT communities that have clear messaging across all platforms. And there are many different platforms. And I always say, if you're going to look into a project, don't FOMO in, fear of missing out. What you want to do is go onto their website, check out what they're saying, look at how the website is laid out. And then founders who have a professional resume in tech and business. That's important, right? What does their resume on LinkedIn say? If they don't have a resume on LinkedIn, I don't know that I'm as interested. I think the whole docs or not to docs really comes down to, are they known? Can you pull up their profile? Can you pull up a real picture of them? These are important things. PO.eth, shout out to him. I believe they're actually in England right now. They do their podcast. They have massive Twitter spaces. I love watching what they do. Founders and creators that show up to the Twitter spaces and Discord on a consistent basis. If a community has issues or problems, they are discussed publicly. That's one of the big things that Matt Swayze of Maddies Metrics and I discussed is the website for the community, roadmap, and white paper. Is it easy to read? Communicates a long-term message and mission in Web3 and how they're going to integrate with Web2-based businesses. That's something that's really important and near and dear to me. Free of spelling errors and provides transparency to all. Next, we're going to go into Twitter Spaces, which has immense value to my content creating process. But one of the things I want to do is I want to give actually Freddie Hernandez from Shield Folio a shout out. So I was able to grab, if you guys can see on YouTube, his Mutant Ape. He put it on a shirt and sent it to me. It's Mutant Ape 2548 of a 25458 of a 20K collection. So super proud to be rocking this Mutant Ape. Shout out to the Yuga Labs family. Twitter Spaces provides immense value to my content creation process. I listen on average to about 5 or more Twitter Spaces every week. But one of the things that I will do is I will go into multiple Twitter Spaces before I'll stay in one. And I'm looking at a couple things. What is the title of that Twitter Spaces? And I will listen into each space for a time of 1 minute. So if there's 5 spaces, it's going to take me 5 minutes to figure out what Twitter space I want to land in. Is it a catchy tagline? So last night there was a Twitter space that said negativity. Well, I wanted to learn about that. So there's something that you guys can run with, and I would highly recommend that when you hop into these Twitter spaces, press that request to speak button. If you get pulled on stage, if you don't have anything special to say, just say hi. I'm in Web3. I love this space. I like what you guys are saying. Nobody's ever going to boo you for compliments. And that's another way to get yourself up there and get your PFP on Twitter seen, right? Is that we want people to see and know who you are. Whether you're an influencer, content creator like myself or my podcast, whether you're an NFT community, whether you're just a lover of this Web3 space when it comes to NFTs, crypto, and the blockchain, just get on there. You learn strategy, mindset, and around the adoption of block-based technology, and you get to interact with the community on an intimate level. My top people to see in the month of October on Twitter Spaces, and I don't think it's going to change. I think this list will only will grow as we continue to move on, is Shillin' Villain. Not the thread guy, Pio Vincienzo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I just call him Pio. I shorten it. He's very well known, and if I butchered that, I apologize, my friend. And then there are just a few others. So anything where Rotten Antisocial Club or OnChain Monkey is involved, I negate the first rule. I go right in there. I love Rotten Antisocial Club and I love OnChain Monkey when they're speaking. I like to get in there, as well as a quick shout out to the Knights of DGen. They had a great conversation last night, a lot around sports, DGen betting, all the cool things that they're doing legally. I love that space. And shout out to Serena Williams. She actually purchased into the Knights of DGen. So congratulations. I'm excited for Drew Austin as his ecosystem continues to build through his leadership. So is it Web 2 to Web 3, or is it Web 3 to Web 2? And what I mean by that is who's coming to who first? Are the regular everyday businesses, the mom and pop businesses, the big corporations that serve out products, or those that deliver service to clients, whether it's in homes or businesses? Are they coming to NFT communities in Web3 and the blockchain, which I think would probably be easy because they can integrate pretty quickly and easily and effectively? I hope that's the way that it goes. Or is it Web3 convincing Web2 that they need this technology? And there's this shift. We have a lot of shifts going on in society, and technology is a big driving force, and is why I love this space as much as I do. So I learned that Web3 can teach Web2 about ethics, not all the time, want to be careful, evolving technology and trends when it comes to how traditional businesses will function. That, I believe, is the sole purpose for Web3 to Web2. Web2 businesses have actual products and services. Traditional businesses, when they have a stock, it's directly tied to a product or a service. It's directly tied to that particular company or a set of companies. So they will engage Web3 communities in the following manner. This is when I think they'll come to them. They see that the NFT communities have mature content creation. The founders and developers, mods, and community members have a clear message on utility from day one as they see utility right now, because I think utility is going to be expansive. The NFTs minted out and secondary sales are healthy. And the floor as we know it in Web3, which means the bottom price of a collection, is steady and is only going upward. And if it has a retrace, there's a floor sweep. And there's a floor sweep because there's a belief in this community long term and what it's going to offer the world in the next 5 to 10 years. Strategic alliance in Web3 communities directly tied to Web2 based businesses is extremely important. So that's a little bit of my take on Web2 to Web3 and Web3 to Web2. Who's going to come to who first? I hope that it's Web2 to Web3. It will only complement all the great things we're doing in this space. All right, so I tried my best on this one, the inflationary tokens versus deflationary tokens. So while inflation is characterized by rising prices and the decreasing value of currency, the opposite happens during deflation. Deflation is the process where prices on consumers' goods and services fall and the money increases in value. So what are the pros and cons around deflationary tokens? Maybe I just want to hit that first. In part, I think the answer is one and of the same. Deflationary is the lessening of supply by the following methods: a burning mechanism set into the smart contract and a potential buyback. The theory is if you lessen the supply, you are in turn creating greater value by increasing the demand. Here are the two types of deflationary tokens to be aware of. And this was during some of the research, Google search, having conversations with friends. So there is a token bomb and a nuke. Let's talk about the token bomb. The first ever self-destructing currency. This token was created to see if deflationary tokens have a long-term use case. And let me be clear, I do believe they can, but you can't get rid of the currency completely. You have to still have something available that people want. With nothing available, eventually is going to die out. I don't think anybody wants that. That's just my opinion, right? That's not a technical analysis. That's just a fundamental thought. The idea around this type of token is to kill the supply by 2034, where tokens are left in this manner. Here are the cool concepts, and I only have but 2 questions on this. Does this have a long-term use case? I don't know. And does anyone really care? Well, if you care, let me know. I'm curious. So the nuke token, it is Ethereum-based, and it competes with the bomb. It is a deflationary method. However, it has a deflationary method just like the token bomb, but the nuke token, however, has a 2% burn rate to that of the 1% burn rate with the bomb token. So it burns even quicker. However, with the nuke process of burning, it will come to a halt once a set number has been burned. I don't know that they released what that number is. Very curious. Maybe that's sort of the secret behind it all. The nuke will be around in theory, whereas the bomb will be completely decimated. In DeFi, Decentralized Finance, there are many different methodologies that will be tested to see what works in this new world of Web3 DeFi finance. What I want to do, Tony, is a quick screen share. I'm just going to pull this up real quick, see if I can get that. There we go. So this is actually an article that I pulled up. If I can just get this out of the way. Sometimes you'll find articles, but this one right here, I think was incredibly important. I'll actually put it into the post show notes on Twitter Spaces and CraigO's Crypto Corner. I'll put some of these articles that I pulled up, but this is where I sourced that information from. And I think that's incredibly important. All right, we are past that part. So inflationary tokens are the opposite. Tokens that have a higher supply and lower demand. The pro with inflationary is that it encourages investing sector to spend due to a lack of scarcity, whereas deflationary relies on that demand. This is only one of several factors when deciding if investing in a particular crypto is right for me. You might have a different technical analysis. Definitely talk to a multiple of people before you either get into crypto or you decide to cost average in. Maybe it was a bad decision in the first place and it's even worse if you cost average in, or maybe it's a smart play right now. Depends on what the company is doing, what the technology is doing. When I can conceptualize all the metrics before deciding, I then feel empowered to make a move. Last year, I think a lot of my education was paid in the way of saying, getting a call from a friend and being like, dude, you got to get in this. I'm telling you, you got to do it now. Oh, great. I'm doing things that other people. And it was funny because a lot of people were making money. The problem was people hodled for too long. Hold on for dear life. Gotta love it. So now I want to take a light topic, playful trolling and shit posting, right? And the necessary combined with a fun GIF. Now, we created our GIFs on the Linktree. I do a lot of fun ones, sort of like the rug pull, the Nerf gun. We've got a lot of fun ones going on there. And I think there's a level of personality to this ecosystem where there's a small part where you get to have a little bit of fun, but serious content creation is why people will tune in, why my podcast continues to build, why some of my other friends' podcasts continue to build, why NFT projects continue to grow, and the strength in this opportunity market, in air quotes, is why people are still sticking around. If you don't know my personality, then why would you subscribe to me, right? So shit posting and shilling, there's to a balance. I'm only going to shill my podcast, and I'm only going to shill the people I have come on here because I believe enough that I've done my due diligence to bring really good people that have a really powerful message on Web3. They are the same kind, right? If you do this too much or too often, right? They're of the same kind. If you do too much shilling or you do too much shit posting or too many memes, you lose credibility, and credibility is everything for us. So next we're going to go on and we're going to talk about the Blur marketplace. Now, this came out of nowhere. It's gaining incredible market traction. It is grabbing market share from, I believe, Magic Eden and definitely that of OpenSea. I do want to go real quick over to the screen share. I'm going to try to find the Blur tab. Bear with me for a minute. Because I wasn't able to hop on before, I'm not going to pull it up or try to go in. I don't want to kill any of our time. But they say that it is the fastest marketplace. So, Tony, if you can go quickly to the screen share, I just want to show that perfect. They've got kind of like an 80s Atari look. The DGens will completely appreciate this. Your wallet might have qualified, depending on how much Ethereum trading of NFTs that you did or how much crypto, you might qualify for their free airdrop. I unfortunately didn't. Quite interesting. So there was quite a bit of money that had to be spent in order for you to qualify for that. But this is a great marketplace. I highly recommend that you check it out. You can also list things across multiple marketplaces. So this is a really powerful platform. Let me come back and just share a couple more tidbits on this platform for you guys. So the Blur claims, as I said, to be the fastest marketplace to date. They are super fast, according to Ralph Quintero from the Daily Ralpha, which is how I know about this. It is an aggregator, so you can list and sell on all marketplaces all in one house, getting more exposure and opportunity. More opportunity to potentially snipe if you're a buyer, and more opportunity to create extra value if you're a seller. Backed by Paradigm. It's focused on Web3. Paradigm is a company that is a Web3-based company, I believe, that funds projects between 1 to 100 million. Paradigm does not back rug pulls. That was very clear. More analytical tools, managing gas fees to stay on top of your buys and sells. It is a flipper's paradise. Blur claims to be 10 times faster than the Gem aggregator platform, which I believe also launched in tandem. I think it was either Coinbase or OpenSea. That's a little trivia question for me later. I'm going to be like, which one was it? All right. It has underground type of feel for us true Web3 degens. Go and list a couple items. The second airdrop is going to be this month in November. So maybe you list a couple of the NFTs that you're not so excited about. So this is direct chat to you, degens. I believe just on the Ethereum blockchain, but also I think they also might list Solana as well. I don't really mess a lot with Solana NFTs. I do want to learn more about that ecosystem as time goes on. 0% royalties. What are my thoughts surrounding this? Boy, it just gets more complicated in the way because, as I've always said, my podcast directly ties to that long term of traditional business meeting Web3, NFT, and crypto communities. So more in-depth ideas to compensate founders, creators, and provide long-term value for the community. So when you take away royalties, the artist or the founder does not get paid after mint, at least from what I understand. So Frank DeGods, which his project is Utes, they had the Utes Scholarship, and then I think it's Boots, and then also DeGods. He is creating new collections based on rarity. So I thought this was interesting, and he made there's some alpha insight in this next couple paragraphs. This is a 1-to-1 limited edition play. He is a trendsetter and rides along the grains of what might not be comfortable for others. Frank's belief on utility is to offer his holders, here it is right now it is, exposure. So the question that I ask as I pull up my Mutant Ape shirt, number 25458, is how much exposure as it relates to Shield Folio was my good friend Freddie Hernandez able to get? And how many new followers do you get when you became a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape? How many more people subscribe to your channel? How much exposure do you get from being part of the DGods community, right? So that exposure then allows you to have a larger audience, a bigger voice. It's one of the reasons why I get to borrow the IP, is that I love the ecosystem. I like what Yuga Labs is doing. They have the Crypto Punks, they have the Meebits, and they have the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So I think that's pretty incredible. Bored Ape Yacht members, Twitter page, the PFP, how many accounts had this exposure and how many grew from that and then monetized that opportunity? Maybe some took it for granted. Now they realize that that exposure is a level of utility, because if you have a message that people resonate with and you can get sponsorships, or you have a product or a service, those things are powerful. So exposure, I think, is one of the most important things. This is why we stay consistent with our podcast. As I want it to grow, I want the quality of engagement to continue to improve. What did those who gained new followers do with this exposure? Some were smart enough, as we said, to capitalize on that exposure, show the community how to gain an audience and how to monetize exposure by holding something in the Utes ecosystem. I have a feeling that Frank is going to keep a separate closed group in Discord, and maybe they already do. And it will be about strategy of utilizing the different things within that particular ecosystem, as others have done. This was the first episode of CraigO's Crypto Corner on November 3rd. I'm super psyched that you guys could attend. The next episode, we have an incredible giveaway. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching CraigO's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. CraigO signing off.